I guess that's just for me. Just like it came natural.
Yeah.
Like, because and going back to sports, like I played sports throughout school, but I I I found myself. I kid you not, like junior high, middle school. I knew sports were my way out. Like I just
This
knew
ain't it.
that ain't it because I ain't gonna lie, I was average, like I was decent, but I knew I wasn't like a superstar. Like I would go in and do what I had to do, get out the field, court, whatever. But I was like, I was always like into tech or into like a book or something. So,
That's okay.
and
Shoot.
that's okay.
That's
And
cool.
y'all, look, believe me, it is okay.
Oh no! They don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in and not just kidding.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them, and he's one of my favorite men to come emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
My guest of honor is a man of integrity with an eye for design. He graduated from UT Arlington in 2016. Now he serves as a multimedia specialist and creative consultant. He's the owner and creator of QB's Clean Cut Designs, and he was recently featured in an article published by Voyage Dallas. He believes that staying true to yourself is the ultimate key to success, so he has committed himself to lead by example. Today, my guest of honor is my brother, Quincy Burse. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. I had to get you on here because look, it's the new year, and I was like, we got to get some new faces on here that I know have a good message. And I feel like you are definitely one of those people who I believe is like a really stand-up person. We don't have very many authentic people walking on this earth, so I'm grateful to that God let our paths cross because yeah. I done seen a few.
I have to. Well, let's not get into that. That'll be a tangent. But yeah, first time on a podcast, so
look at that. Well, welcome to Level Up with Coach K.
Hey, I'm here.
Yes. How has quarantining been going for you? Even though we're in the new year, how has it went all 2020?
I've been quarantining my whole life.
I've been quarantining my whole life.
And I'm a homebody. This ain't nothing new to me.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like, you wanna go to the movies or go to the mall, stuff like that, without having to like wear masks and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm a homebody anyway, so it's not really a bad thing. But I miss going to like games and stuff, like basketball games, football games.
Yeah, I do miss that, bro. The sport aspect, oh my God. I miss it.
And seeing the stuff without fans, it's just like, man, that ain't it.
It's not. It's like, I think it's interesting how in 2020 we were able to see people like pivot quickly. Like, the NBA, the NFL, all of those major corporations, they pivoted very quickly. But it still was just like, I miss being there.
Right. Even if you weren't there, you miss like hearing it like you were there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, now all you hear is sneakers, the basketball bouncing, some occasional trash talk, which is actually kind of cool. But then again, you just miss that element because home court advantage.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always say we get to see the essentials. You know how they overuse the word essential 2020. Like I feel like 2020 has definitely led us to like recognize the essentials. And me being an ex-basketball player, hearing the squeaks of the shoes is my favorite part anyway.
Right.
So I find that very interesting. Like we're down to the essentials.
Right. the fundamentals of the game.
Good word, fundamentals of the game. Right. Well, speaking of fundamentals, this game called life definitely calls us to like pivot quickly and hold on to like certain characteristics that make us who we are. So tell me a little bit about who Quincy is as a person. Like what makes you who you are?
I'm real like I guess chill, very quiet,
Mhm.
real observant. Um, but like once I kind of get comfortable out my shell,
Mhm.
people see me for who I am. You know what I'm saying? But I come off a little awkward, but at the same time, that makes me who I am.
Mhm.
So I get looks all the time, like people think I'm weird or whatever, but I just kind of, again, like we were talking about earlier, like I just stay true to myself. Like
Mhm.
I'm not the type to be loud in the room because you know people that be loud for no reason, like that makes me feel like you're insecure about something. So
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I'm quiet, I'm observing, I chip in when the conversation is like intriguing because there's
Mhm.
sometimes I was in places where like the conversation was like stupid. I'm like, I'm not about to waste my time and energy on stuff like this because that's just not my crowd. That's not my lane.
Mhm.
So it's just something important for all the young folks out there. Like I'm not young, but just stay in your lane. Like if you don't feel comfortable like in the setting or situation, then you can leave. But I've been in areas where it's just like, man, this just ain't for me.
Right.
And that kind of made me like, I guess people like me a little bit, but because you kind of take that on your own path, like you're not trying to be like somebody else.
Right.
So I always strive on being different. Like you're not going to see somebody that's like exactly like me unless it's like a family member or you know
Yeah, our genes is strong.
facts facts,
Strong
but
genes.
it's just like I feel like that kind of made me, set myself apart because I'm just that type of guy. Like real reserved, real like chill, just I can talk about anything with anybody, especially if it's like engaging and intriguing. But
Yeah.
if I feel like it's not in my best interest, then I'm gonna be quiet. On my phone, on the couch, on TV, something. I'm gonna be somewhere like not paying attention because I'm not interested. But it's just something that, just a characteristic that I have, just kind of just, be myself without feeling weird about it. So,
Yeah. It takes time for people to get to the point where you're at right now to like start giving zero ifs about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes a
yeah,
minute for people to get to that point. And unfortunately, a lot of times it takes getting hurt a lot. You know what I'm saying? To like really wake you up and be like, bro,
right.
if you don't get it together, you're gonna keep
Exactly.
the cycle going.
Exactly.
So um what would you say are your like five non-negotiables when it comes to like people you let in your space or, your friendships and relationships?
Non negotiables.
Yeah.
One, I think the biggest one is like, if I don't get that sense of loyalty, like, kind of like when we meet, or like, not when we meet, but like over time,
Mhm.
you out of there. Like, there's no, if I share stuff with you and somebody else know it, like, without even knowing me, that's an
Yeah.
issue. So, like, if I'm like confident enough to like tell you certain things or talk to you about certain things, situations, and like people looking at me side eye, you know what I'm saying? Just based
Yeah.
off like, that situation, like that ain't for me. That's one. Two, I guess they go hand in hand, like the trust factor.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not like I like to be transparent, but there's times where like I feel like my trust was not like valued.
Mhm.
So I just kind of you get back into your little hole because people don't value that trust value when it comes to friendships, relationships, partnerships, whatever it may be. Three, um, like attention seeking, like attention whores.
Oh yeah.
I can't stand that
I'm with you on that one.
because it's like, what are you doing it for? Like, are you doing it for clout? Or are you doing it to make yourself feel good? Like, what's the end goal? Like for me, I always try. I like people that's just being themselves. Like
Mhm.
you don't have to like be extra, you know, for me to be your friend or whatever. It's just like just be yourself. Four would be your thought process,
Mm.
especially in relationships. If the way you think is like a turn off for me, that's it. Like we're not even gonna get past certain age, and I don't want to get into that. But you know
That
I'm
mental
hitting.
aspect is good. Yeah, the
Right.
mental aspect is important.
Right. It's just like if I can't like hold a conversation with you, like intellect, like I can't if I can't we can't talk about something that's not like gossip. Nah. So like I feel like and that's don't get me wrong, like it happens, but that's
Hmm.
all you talk about. That's it. Like we got a whole bunch of other stuff going on that we can like be talking about. We can strategize about. We can do these different things, but just the way you think, the way you like carry yourself, like that's yeah, non-negotiable. Those four right there, that's the core for me. I mean,
What's on your shirt though?
that should have been number one. If you're not a believer, then
You can hit them with the last but not least.
yeah. Last but not least, if you're not a believer, like you might as well, forget about it. I feel like that's the thing. Well, I feel like that was more like hand in hand with your thought process.
Yeah.
Like people get this perception, like if you like or follower of Christ or you a Christian, they get this like, oh, you just like them people at the church. Like, what you mean people at the church? Like, what? Talk
Yeah.
to me about it. Or them people, them Bible toting money getting preachers. I'm like, or people in the church. I'm like, that's just an aspect, that people only see.
Yeah.
That's not what goes on inside the church. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some preachers out here and people, that do stuff that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth.
Yeah.
And it kind of like puts that perception like, oh, if they're like this, then they must automatically like them. No. Right.
It's not true.
It's not true. I think people like get that misconception. Like people, we have fun. Like we have fun just like you. You know what I'm
You can
saying?
be
It may
Christian
not
and
it may
be good too, man. We have fun.
exactly. It's just like, yo, what logic is that? And I have conversations with like people all the time, like, I wear stuff like this, or I have a bracelet on and say something, or, because I just know what my strength comes from, where the source is.
Absolutely.
So I always like keep that with me. And, I just, if people realize like why we're actually here, I think more people will understand.
Yeah.
And, I like sharing that with people because like they kind of don't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Because they just think like, oh, I'm here, you know what I'm saying? But not like why, like why are you here? What's your purpose of being here? Like you could have been gone a long time ago. You couldn't even been born. So you're here for a
Absolutely.
reason.
Yeah.
So like when people like kind of like have that negative connotation about people who are in love with church or who like going to church, who read their Bible study, whatever you got to do, serving, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have an issue with that. I just feel like we live in this era where people just like want to do alternative things instead of like going to the actual source. And
Yeah.
that eats me up because it's like, yo, like because they have that instant success. And it's just baffling to me like how people are when it comes to that. It's just like I think people get religion and relationship like misconstrued.
Super.
Like you can be religious, you can be the first lady, you can be the mother of the church and still go in the parking lot cuss somebody out because they look at you wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people get that mixed up at because we all know I grew up Baptist. We all had that old mean lady at the church who
Yeah.
made you not want to go no more.
Yep.
So it's just like, or that mean usher, or that mean deacon, or that preacher that you just didn't like.
Yeah.
Like we all had that, but that doesn't mean like just because you happen to do that or go to that church, you just like them.
Right.
It's not. I feel like, and my bishop say this all the time. Like this goes outside these four walls. So I think people just think like, oh, it's just church. No, like
No.
your ministry is not just church. Your ministry could be what we're doing right now. It could be your career path. It could be, different things. Like I have a friend who's a personal trainer. Like she basically left here, went back home to start her ministry. She says it's not sports, it's ministry. That's her saying.
It is a
And
ministry.
when you think about it, I'm like, yeah. Like in what I do, like, when it comes to like tech stuff, helping people, get started over stuff, like that's ministry.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing that because that's just something that, you know, God blessed me with. So, why not, share it? And then, it's just when people like say stuff, I just kind of like, I sigh, but at the same time, like I just feel like they don't know. Like they don't know.
It's true.
And, I would, I don't mind talking to people about it because I love different perspectives. I may not
Yeah.
agree with it. We can agree to disagree, but like I love hearing different perspectives because, oh, I didn't think about it that way, or I didn't view it the way you view it, or people experience certain things in church, and that scars them for a long time. And I'm not oblivious to that. So,
Yeah.
but I just the way people think, the way people look at certain stuff, it's tiring. And I think some people too. This makes me mad. It gets under my skin. Like we live in a microwave society,
Absolutely.
um, and when people make remarks about, "Oh, your God didn't do this at this amount of time or this certain time," I'm just like that grinds my gears. 'Cause I'm like, yo, like y'all don't understand what you got can come crashing down. And when we've seen it,
Quick.
oh, like these people that are like these so-called self-made millionaires, and there are some actually true self-made millionaires.
Nobody's self-made.
Exactly.
I'm
But
sorry.
it's just like you did that by yourself.
No.
Like you did it by yourself. Like seriously, like you like nobody, like you didn't pray. Oh, you manifested. That's what you did. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So like, when I tell you, like when I saw this certain individual, I'm not gonna say her name.
I don't know who you talking about.
When I saw that individual, like I loved her. Like I really did.
Yeah.
And when she started doing that stuff, I'm just like, she gonna have a bad fall. Like talking about certain things, I'm just like, cause seeing her grind was inspiring.
Yeah.
Seeing where she started to getting to a certain point to actually like being prominent and actually making something of herself, it's inspiring. And then when she started doing these new age practices and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's when you mess up. And then like you saw the trickle down.
Yeah.
You saw this getting canceled. You saw her getting canceled. You saw like, and cancel culture is not real. It's not a thing. You can't cancel a person. But
You can make them feel that way though.
exactly. And my thing is you deny, but behind closed doors, you like, man, what happened? Like what happened to all my assets? What happened to all my supporters that actually like support me when I started?
Yeah.
And when people like get the big head, like people have that haughty spirit, it's not good. And I
No.
just like think to myself like, man, and I want to tell like anybody that's like coming up, like younger than me, like one, always remain humble. Like no matter where you are, like no matter where, like if you start from the bottom and you just have a whole nice success story, always remember where you came from. Always like stay true to yourself. Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself in a season where ain't nobody around. The stuff that you had, it's gonna be gone, or it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
little. And
Yeah.
you're gonna be fighting, scratching and clawing to get back to where you were, but it's gonna take longer because you didn't appreciate what you had. You didn't appreciate, the people that were actually for you when you didn't have it. Because when people get money and stuff, get success, they forget about the homies back home. They forget
Yeah.
about the people that was with them, like when things like we didn't know if things were gonna work out. But like, soon as you rise up, things change. I'm just like, man, all y'all out there that's like really had an entrepreneur mindset, that have like career goals. I always remember like one, stay prayed up for sure. Like don't,
I can tell you that.
man, look, don't just because you get a little, come up, don't stop praying. Please don't
Mm-mm.
stop praying, because I feel like we pray for these blessings, but we don't pray for like how to keep them. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, as soon as we get them, they could be gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like if you like get high minded, it's no good. Like it
But
is.
that's why you have to start when you're in the preparation mode. You
Mhm.
have to make sure that you're praying for the mind to handle that stuff. You have to pray for like God to enhance your characteristics and your mindset to be able to handle the weight of the responsibility
Exactly.
of the blessing. Because
Exactly.
at the end of the day, it's like nobody is self-made. I can't say this
Mhm.
enough. And you're talking, you're talking to somebody who wants to be a full-time entrepreneur. Who entrepreneurship is me.
Right.
So um it's like you have to keep that in mind so that you don't lose your peace because
Mhm.
the journey is extremely rough terrain. It's
Yeah.
not this like, oh, I got 1 million followers and then I just took off. You
Mhm.
may do that, but then you will fumble the purpose. And it's sad to watch people fall like that.
Oh my god. Like it hurts my heart because it's just like, man, these people, man, they really like started from humble beginnings and then once they
Yeah.
got there.
Hmm.
My thing is like I kind of it's scary because again, we're in an age where everything's on everything on your phone, social
Yeah.
media. And people like, kids nowadays, like teenagers or whatever, like they want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. I can get 1 million followers and do this. Oh, okay. No. Like I feel like people don't understand what the people do behind the scenes. Like who
Yeah.
knows what they
It's a
done
lot
did
of
to
work.
get to who done like people be selling their souls. Like nobody knows. And that's why it's just like, man, just like be yourself. Like it brings back to that, like be yourself at all times because being yourself will get you farther than where they are, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to pay for nothing. You don't gotta sell your soul for nothing. Like you just be yourself.
Yeah.
And if it
It's
take if it take a while, that's okay. At least you still going. You know what I'm saying? Like just don't get stagnant. Like don't let what you see on social media, what you see on these different platforms, don't let that get to you. Like just
no.
because they got it right now, I mean they gonna have it forever.
And it starts from somewhere too. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important to say that. Like it starts as small, a mustard seed. You know how we
Right.
all faith the size of a mustard seed. But like every experience that you have is really like giving you parts of, the big picture. It
Exactly.
really is like you're gaining like the stripes and the merit points,
Mm-hmm.
everything while you journey. And that's what people want to skip. And I'll be like,
Right.
no, don't
Mm-mm. You don't.
skip
Please don't
that
skip,
part.
y'all. Y'all don't skip the journey. Believe me,
Don't skip that part.
don't
Shoot.
skip the journey. If it was that easy, you not gonna want it. Just
Exactly.
let's just be real. Like if it's easy to get to the top, everybody be at the top.
Yeah.
It'll be
Would you
crowded too.
yeah, super crowded. I wanna ask you this real quick. Did you watch the movie Soul?
I haven't finished it.
But you watched it, you know the
I
premise
watched
of
it.
the movie.
Man,
Okay. Somebody was
yes.
like posing this question and I was like, oh my God, I'm asking Quincy this. And I wanna do a little a thing on Clubhouse with this too. But
Ooh, okay.
yeah, they asked like, they said the main thing I took from Soul is that your passion is not your purpose, and I was like, that is the absolute truth. And I
That's
think a
true.
lot of people get it misconstrued because they think that, oh, I love this so much, and this is my purpose, and I'm like,
Mhm.
no, your purpose is what God put you here for,
Right.
and your passion or your passions with an S, because I believe we have
Hmm.
multiple gifts.
Yep.
Your passions are the vehicles that God utilizes, like the veins and the vessels for Him to
The
get the
vessels.
purpose through those things in those realms. I truly believe that, like somebody who loves sports, they can love to play sports, but their purpose is to save lives. So they save lives through that passion.
I'm
So I
glad you
wanted to
said
know
that.
what you thought about that.
I think like I feel like it's different for certain people.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, your passion, like you said, could be like why you put on this earth. And you can, well, not your passion, your purpose
Hmm.
is the reason why you're on this earth. Your passions or passions, like you said, like you can have so many passions. You can be passionate about the Cowboys, who are,
Everything.
I
I'm
think they're
so
losing
mad
right
at
now.
them.
I think they're losing right now.
Oh
Your
God.
passions can be, it could be like nonprofit stuff. It can be anything of that nature.
Yeah.
Sports, like it can be anything.
Yeah.
But I think people just kind of get that, like you said, everybody gets stagnant. I think
Yeah.
people just don't they don't think outside the box.
They don't.
Like it's just more of like you have to be open minded enough to like realize, okay, this is my purpose, but what am I passionate about the most?
Yeah.
So like for me, like I feel like my purpose on this earth is to help people in any realm that I can, whether
Yep.
it be you know tech, you know prayer, just being a good friend. But I'm passionate about really like uplifting people, the community.
Hmm.
Like I'm passionate about sports. I love sports. I'm passionate about these different things. Like I always want to tie everything in,
Yeah.
like at some point.
Yeah.
But it's just like I think people just really like just get this one thing in their mind, and they just stick with it without thinking like, okay, reality. Like let's say, you know, people think like their purpose changes. That's your passions.
Yeah. Your passions change.
Yeah, passions change. So, and what I got from the part, the movie, like that I got to finish it. I think he was really like just like gung ho on that one thing. And then when he, I don't want to tell the movie, everybody ain't seen it yet.
They gonna
But
see it. They'll be all right.
all right, but like when you go in those different like dimensions and you see different things, it's like whoa, because it reminded me of Inside Out.
Yes, I loved
Inside
it.
Out was basically the same thing, like your emotions, all these different things. Like it's just like man, just think outside the box. Like just
Yeah.
really like understand. Like people not gonna know people don't know their purpose at different times. So you may not know it today, tomorrow, next week, next month. I feel like work on that, and then like just kind of like decipher what your passions are, and then if you see
Can,
which is which, and just
can
keep
you
going.
tell can you tell them how you feel like you discovered your purpose? Because I think a lot of people, I get this question all the time, like when people come to me and talk to me, they're like, I just don't know what my purpose is and I don't know how to discover it. So
Mm.
can you tell people how you went about, or you feel like you went about, because sometimes we don't know,
I,
how you
I'll say,
realized it?
man, I'll say this, Trina. Like I'm an only child,
Hmm.
and a lot of people get this perception of like only childs are like selfish. They entitled. Look, I knew what the word no meant. I knew what hell no meant. So I'm good. But
There's levels to this thing.
exactly. But when I realized that I like seeing other people happy besides myself, that's when I knew
Yeah,
that okay, I love helping people because it don't matter what it is. Like it's not about me at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's
like
not.
if that's my mentality, then I feel like what's the point of like doing all this? Because if it's just about me and at the end goal, that's not fulfilling to me.
Right.
What's fulfilling to me is like helping somebody get to a certain point, to a certain level, to where they're successful too. Like I'm gonna celebrate you like it's me.
Exactly.
Like when I see like you for example, like when I saw you lost them 2 books after what you've been through, I was like, what? Yeah. Oh, I'm just can I name drop?
Yeah, you can name drop.
Yeah. My good sis Keely,
Yeah,
she done had a year.
yeah,
But seeing her like persevere through everything from the pandemic, giving childbirth in the pandemic,
Albert in the pandemic.
like
Jesus.
raising a 5-year-old, working full time,
Being a wife.
being a wife, being a intercessor, like being all these different hats, and still like just still doing it constantly, even battling what she was battling.
Yeah,
That's inspiring. Seeing
consistency.
consistency, and like when I see y'all like getting like the blessing that y'all deserve, that warms my heart
Hmm.
because it's just like, man, they done grounded, and don't let me not forget James.
Yes, I'm proud of James.
I haven't talked to James in I don't know how long, but I always pay attention
Yeah,
because he giving free game without giving free game. If that makes sense. Like he doing the same thing that he's always done. It's just in
yeah.
different realms. Like even when he was in
Passion
school,
and purpose.
exactly. So he was just like when I see him do like the Crown Club, when I see him do the toy drive, when I see him do like the tax service, when I see him do these different things, he's just putting us on
Yep.
to like how to be self-sufficient without relying on different things, because we all know what's happening right now. There's gonna be a time where we can't depend on these people that's in these offices.
Yep.
We got to depend on ourselves. We got to build our own village, and I feel like that's what he's doing. And I
The
respect
time
it.
is now.
Exactly. And I feel like everybody talking about we not our ancestors. Yeah, we are.
That's so disrespectful, though. No, we're
Exactly.
not, because if we were, we would be a lot stronger. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I hate it when people say we're not our ancestors. How the audacity
Exactly.
to say we're not. Like, first of all, I would love to be my ancestors. Do you know the amount of strength and vision they had to have, in faith they had to have in order to just think of a day where they could be free? Like, what was freedom to them? They didn't even know what that looked like, really.
They know what it look like. I
And
think
disrespectful. That's so disrespectful.
that's these new age people.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Like when I see stuff like that, I'm like, man, they just don't know.
No.
Like they just don't know like what they're saying. And I think people don't understand how powerful their words are.
Yeah.
And I feel like that as Black people, that's why we're so divided now,
Yeah.
because
Perspective.
everybody's perspectives is different. Like everybody's thinking patterns different. I'm not saying everybody think the same, but I think we need just to be on one accord.
We
'Cause if
need
we
one
on-
purpose.
Exactly. Exactly. We need one purpose, and we need people to not just be in it for themselves.
hmm
I don't think people understand like how powerful we really are as one. Like nobody's looking at that big picture. Like
Other
just
people know.
imagine. That's why they try to stop everything.
And other people know, because
Yeah.
if we actually reverted back to who we were when we were in Africa, it would be completely different story. Like the game would be game over.
Man, it wouldn't be half this stuff that's going on right now with these people. It wouldn't be happening because
It'd
one,
be game over.
you think they're scared now?
I promise you. What'd you say,
a
bro?
wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like if you think they're scared now, and we're not even really doing like what we could be doing.
Yeah. But that takes us waking up and realizing who we are in Christ and who we are through our ancestors, because
people,
like that blood still runs through all of our veins. Like Jesus's blood still works, and he gave us a very wealthy, rich heritage that we don't even tap into, which is sad.
Unfortunately,
We just let it sit there and fester.
That's why I'm happy that I actually like when I got to college. I grew up in a very rednecky city, I would say. But you would notice certain things like subtle stuff, but like it wasn't like out like it is now.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget when I took my first like Black Studies course. Like that changed everything.
Yeah.
And it made me understand how powerful I am as a Black man, how powerful my peers were as Black men and Black women. And it's just like you said, like, wow, if we really tap into this, we could like really like take over. Like everybody talking about Wakanda. Yeah. Yeah. Like we have as a people, we're so talented, we're so gifted in these different things.
Naturally.
It ain't even taught. It's just in us.
Naturally. Yep.
It's just like, but people want to like be somebody else. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, again,
we've been trained that way.
But be yourself. Like,
yeah.
My thing is like, this is something I've learned in my career. It took a little detour, but it's all good. But one thing I've learned and I continue to learn is always pay attention, be aware, and to learn the game. And when I say learn the game, like study wherever you are, like study, like if it's somebody that don't look like you, study what they're not doing.
Yep.
Perfect it, craft it, rebuild it, make it your own, excel. Once
Yep.
you do that in everything that you do, you're gonna be fine. To me, in my estimation. But I've seen so many things where like in business and jobs and like career. That's probably for me. That's why it's like so hard for me now to like see certain jobs a certain way or like work in certain environments because it's like I can't. I see what you're doing. You know, I see your vision, but that ain't ethical. That ain't. You know, I don't want to attach myself to that.
You can't. You can't
And
afford
it's
to.
just like you can't afford to because it like now it kind of like makes you like I don't want to say blackball because I feel like we're unblackballable as a mentor of mine would say. But again, learn the game. Like learn the game. Take what they're not doing that you feel can be helpful for other people and use it. Like I've learned like what not to do from businesses like that I've worked at. Like I learned what not to do. Same thing with like how I grew up. Like when I saw certain people, I saw certain friends, how they treat people. Like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be like that
Yeah.
because it landed them in a situation where they're not gonna see their family for the next I don't know 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, or they burn bridges where they could have opportunities.
Yeah.
So again, like please, I beg y'all, man, just stay true to yourself. Learn the game. And sometimes you gotta play it too. Play it, but like always
Gotta
be
play
10
the
steps ahead.
game.
You gotta play it, but like be 10 steps ahead at the same time. You try to tell the people this, the young people this now, but it's just like they don't want to hear it because it's like, well, it's working for them. Like, yeah, but that's not the end goal, right? Like, do you want to be like them or do you want to be yourself? Like, what do you want to do? That's what I'm looking for. Open minded to the point of where, like, okay, he won't steer me wrong. They're not gonna steer me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So they will because they don't want to see you bigger than them. So we're gonna call them and they. We're gonna call them
Them
and
and
they.
they.
So but yeah, like that's something I will always like pass along to anybody that's like coming up or or people that may be starting over. Just like always like just remember like just play the game, learn the game, do it better than what they're trying to teach you, what they're trying to control you to do.
Yeah.
Don't allow yourself to be controlled by something that you don't feel comfortable with. That's my little piece of advice.
That's all right. Look, I agree with you, but I do want to add one piece. You made the statement to do what they're not doing, like pay attention to what they're not doing. I think that you should pay attention to all of it because, like, if you look at what they're doing, you can take that and perfect it as well.
Right,
So I think that it's just about being observant overall. And like if you're gonna like play the game, you gotta learn it.
right.
Meaning you're gonna have to do some preparation outside
Mm-hmm.
of like some reading. Y'all gotta pick up a book, bro. Pick up a book.
Man, I got a mini library over here.
Right.
I'm gonna get me another bookshelf.
I got
Please
some
read,
too. I mean, yeah,
please read,
the
cause
information is in the books, y'all. I'm telling you.
man,
Look at this
boy,
book.
that's
Ugh, this is what I'm reading right now. Why should white
why
guys
should
have
white
all the
guys?
fun?
It's
For
a nice
real,
book.
Reginald Lewis. This is a billionaire. He was a billionaire in multiple realms. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I want to be in a space that I'm not physically in, I have to
Right,
see it
right,
or expose myself to it. And if I expose myself to it or if God exposes me to it, that means it's
right.
possible for me to have it.
Exactly.
So that's
Ooh,
how I look at it. I look at it that way.
that's a
Telling
whole word, Trina. That's a whole word right there.
I feel it in my
Oh,
spirit for real though, bro, because really and honestly, I think people get so like off the path because they want it to come so fast. And I used to be that way when I was younger. I was trying to manipulate the situation. And when
mhm,
I noticed like when I started trying to manipulate the situation, I was always in a cycle, always messing up, always like back to ground zero. And it wasn't until I like surrendered and like said, God, all right, look, hey, it's all you, G. Like you got
right.
it. I'm
That's
not
it.
to say even implement nothing. You tell me what you want me to do, and I'm gonna do that. And
take your hands off of it.
and it's the easiest way to live. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
like I know people think that discipline is being disciplined is a problem or it's hard. I'm like, no, it may be hard at the beginning, but once you get in the regimen, it
Mm-hmm.
works for you because it's working for who you are as a person, you
Right.
uniquely you. And God, you let God drive for you.
Right.
Y'all
And
get
that's
these
and
self-driving cars, let him drive you.
oh Lord. Not
Shoot,
the self-driving car.
they do. I would never. I would never. But
I
I just
just,
gotta do that.
for me, like to piggyback, I think I feel like that's where I messed up like years ago, where I found myself trying to do things in my own strength
Yeah.
instead of relying on again the true source. Like, please, for the love of God, do not lean on your own understanding, no matter like what it is. Like whatever you do, always seek good counsel from God. Just please, because you know your own understanding will lead you to a path where you probably can't come back from. It just depends on where you go.
It's true.
And I say that because there was a point where I was like, man, what? Why am I still in this place? And I
Yeah.
still ask myself that now. I'm just like, why am I still in this place? Why? When is this going to like open up? And I had to realize like it's coming. I, like every time, like during prayer, like every time, like I look up, I look around. Like, I mean, one, I'm here. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Two, I have a job to go to. I may not like it. It may not be
Yeah.
where I want to be in my career, but it's somewhere to be.
Yeah.
I moved during the whole pandemic,
Yeah. Look at how you living.
and like, it's just like you look around, it's like wow, like the blessings are coming. It may not be like as fast, but they're there. Like the biggest blessings you open your eyes every morning. So
Yeah.
it's just for me, it's just like man, just again, stay true to yourself. I'm gonna keep saying that,
It's
but just like always remember, like don't do these things in your own strength. Like don't try to figure everything out yourself because
yeah.
you can't figure everything out. It's not possible.
I've eliminated those words from my vocabulary,
Exactly
to be honest with you.
because your words hold so much weight. I don't think people understand that
You're never
because
gonna figure it out.
no,
You're never
like
gonna figure
no,
nothing out. Just
it,
go with the flow, bro.
exactly. Like don't try to figure nothing out. Just say okay, God, I trust you, and keep on moving because
Mm-hmm.
like it's people just don't understand that aspect of life like I feel like they should.
Yeah.
And we still going through it. Everybody learns. I learn something every day about
Yeah.
myself, about everything. So it's just like stop trying to do stuff by yourself because it's not going to end in a very pleasing fashion. It may be good for a moment, but that moment can be taken quickly. So
We weren't built for that though. Like we weren't built to be solo. We need community. And we need, first of all, we need the provision and the vision from God.
right,
Period. But we need a support system in a
mhm,
sense, even if it's just one person. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
you need
That's
that one person to believe in you.
that's all
Um,
you need.
that's all you need. And most of the times, like that one person is gonna be just God. Like if you want to be honest, if you're trying to
Exactly.
like do something that's never been done before, the people will come.
Mhm,
Like I always say, the people will come, the money will come, and the accolades or whatever will come, even if they don't. You know what I'm saying?
right.
As long as you're doing what God called you to do, you're gonna feel this sense of fulfillment. And you'll
Mhm,
know it when you feel it.
right.
Because the first time you feel it, you're gonna taste that feeling forever. Like
Mhm,
you're gonna always want to do those things that like represent that purpose because you know
right.
it feels great and you feel satisfied when you do those acts.
It's
It's
yeah.
so deep. it,
It's
it it
it's
really
like
is. So
I just want people to realize that as a
yeah.
collective because they don't just tap into it, y'all. Just tap into it because I feel like people don't understand the journey. Like I just
Yep.
like think back of like where I was like a couple years ago.
Hmm.
I'm just like, man, I'm glad I'm not there no more because it was pretty dark. It
Yeah.
was. it was real bad, real dark. Let's put it that way. But it's that's just the peaks and valleys of life. Like there's gonna be seasons where you're in the valley for a good minute. You may see a little bit of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Then you may go down a little bit. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So you may have to be like my bishop said this morning. Like you may be on the backside of the mountain for a little bit. It's okay. Just know
Yep.
your time coming.
Yep.
Just always remember that if it's taking this long, he sustained you for this long. Just imagine what's on the other side.
Yeah.
Just imagine it, because those promises, they gonna come to you regardless, because he promised them to you. So I mean,
It's God's plan.
so you gotta realize that, you gotta understand that, because I don't think really people just want to like embrace that. That was my word for 2020, was embrace it. Like embrace where you are.
Yeah.
Like embrace the ugly. That was the thing for 2020 for me. And like just remembering like where you came from to where you are, you're gonna appreciate it when everything do come to pass. So
Yep.
like I said, man, all y'all just like feel like y'all want to give up in anything that you're doing, don't. Everybody gonna fail. Everybody gonna fail. That's something I corrected when I was younger. Like my biggest fear was failing, but I was like, we fail at something every day.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, we fail at something every day, no matter what it is. So
And failure is a good thing.
right, because it teaches you like that strategy. Okay, how can I come back better? How can I get past that certain obstacle that made me feel this time? So
Yep.
it's just kind of like that's just a part of life. And then like now, like I guess my biggest I don't want to say fear, but the biggest thing for me is I don't want to let the people down that have always been there for me. That have always like just kind of been that support system. I would never want to disappoint them or let them down in any capacity.
Then don't.
That's the big exactly. So it's just like that's the biggest thing for me, and that's for anybody. Like, don't, if somebody's been there for you and you find yourself in a place where like that would disappoint them, like just get out of it. Like what you doing? Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just real. I'm just thinking back on like that point in my life where it's just like, man, I felt like I was up, but at the same time, like I wasn't right within myself,
Yeah.
and that led to a dark place. It led to a miserable place. Like I was, if y'all, well, you saw me. If y'all would have saw me then and see me now, like physically, people would be like, "Dang, what happened?" Like I'm stress free,
And you
not
start
depressed
loving
no more.
yourself.
So loving yourself. So you start your relationship with God get stronger. That was the biggest thing for me with my relationship with God, to get way stronger than what it was, because not knowing Him for who He truly is and knowing yourself and knowing yourself in Christ was a thing that I felt like was keeping me, holding me back.
Yeah.
And now that I'm like understanding more, like it's the revelation comes, like you start seeing things differently. You start like it's almost like it's like like
Yeah.
when somebody cross your mind and you text them or something, or you end up seeing them
Yep.
and they kind of explain to you what's going on. It's like, oh, okay, that's why you crossed my mind. Okay, that's why I reached out to you, because of this certain situation. So
Yep. You have to act
man,
on it though, because a lot of
right,
people don't. Like honestly, wait, real quick before I say this, I want to go back to what you said. You were saying you don't want to disappoint the people that support you. And
right,
I think it's interesting because you can see your growth from what you just said there to now what you just said. I started loving myself, because a lot of people don't want to disappoint the people, but they don't care about disappointing themselves, which is like interesting to me. It's like we care more about other
others.
people,
That's
but
something that I constantly work on daily,
mm-hmm.
because just find myself doing more for everybody else than for me.
That's okay. Oh well, that's not okay. But
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna do more because you're service minded. So
yeah,
we kind of wanted the same on that, because at first I didn't start loving myself till I turned 27. I tell people
mm,
the number 27 is very significant to me, because that's the year I started loving myself. obviously I was born on the 27th. And the when I was 27, that's when I released my first book. So 27 is significant to me because that's when I really started taking care of me. And it's
Mhm.
okay to give and be, a servant to others, but you got to have
Right.
boundaries too. And that's where I lacked.
Mm.
But I got them now. But
It's funny you say that. Funny you say that because I'm 27.
see,
So
it's a good number.
it's a great number.
Hmm.
Just learning again those boundaries, and you know, like I said, you grow every day,
Hmm.
and like I said, you learn every day. I guess it's a constant. How can I put it? Life is a constant lesson
Hmm.
because no matter where you are, what you're doing, something new or something profound is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So whether it's from a good decision, a bad decision, you're gonna learn from it. And
Yep.
some people don't learn from it the first time, second time, third time, but they gonna learn it.
That's why they go
Um,
through it a lot of times because they don't allow themselves to be aware enough and
right,
alert enough to absorb the knowledge just being given to them.
exactly. So I'm,
Because it's not pretty all the time. Everybody
oh
wants pretty
no,
lessons. I'll be like,
oh
nah,
no,
fam. I done had many ugly lessons, and
those would be the best ones to be honest with
they are the best ones because it forces you out of your comfort zone.
you. Yep,
Um,
because it makes you think like, dang, like why am I? It hurt, but I get it. Like it's a lot of times you say ouch when you like learn something like ouch, that's
yeah.
me. I was doing that, but at the same time, like okay, how can I build on that and become better each and every day?
Hmm. I would say I would say the best way to build on that each and every day is allowing yourself to live because
Mhm.
a lot of times we shield ourselves from experiences because we got burnt before, so we
Mhm.
don't like allow ourselves to try stuff or meet people or be open to
Right.
new experiences. So you're just existing at that point. That is a horrible way to
Ooh,
live. People always say
terrible.
I try too much stuff. I'll be like, girl, I'm out here trying because one of these things gonna stick.
Oh no.
One of them gonna stick, and you
Right.
have to believe that the vision that God gave you is strong enough to get you to where, like, it's strong enough to get you there. If
Mhm.
you truly believe in it, you're gonna keep going.
Right.
But
Regardless.
if you don't believe in it that much, you got one foot in, one foot out. You're gonna be like, uh, I don't know. I'm a
Mhm.
little confused. Nothing about God is confusing,
Oh,
like at all. It's he gonna be very clear with you, like, hey, get it together
right now. Because if you
right
don't,
now.
it's gonna be delayed. I'm delayed. Like
Yeah,
if you don't get it together, like I'm okay. You're gonna be in that same. You're gonna be in the same place.
yeah. It's nothing
But
confusing about God. Like
mhm,
nothing.
um, yeah, that's boy.
I would I will say this too, like you're a business owner, so tell us a little bit about your business and how you even came to the point of starting the business because just taking the leap of faith to start it is a lot.
Well, I'm glad you asked that because Trina actually it started with you.
Oh, did it start
Um,
with
yes, I don't know if you
me?
remember my last semester of college. I asked to do like a little sample website for Memoirs of Virtue.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I came up with the name QB's Clean Cut Design.
Are you serious?
You know that? I didn't tell you that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
that's actually how I started the name because I had always did things like that, but I just never like really capitalized on it.
Hmm.
So that was my capstone project for my last semester of college.
Wow.
So I came with the logo, the little Bitmoji thing, and for a while, like I wasn't really using it for that. I just kind of was like, hey, I do this type of stuff all the time. So like, I get family to call like, hey, can you make a flyer or can you make me a brochure for church or can you make me a flyer for church? Yeah, no
Hmm.
problem. Or your granny call you like, Quincy, how you do this? I'm like, oh, just push that button.
Oh.
So
They
or
so cute.
my mama call her, hey Quincy, how you merge this or how do you do this or how do you do that? I'm like, yeah, let's do it this way. And I've always been into tech and you know, I feel like, or now there's more of us in that space,
Yeah, it's getting
but
bigger.
I always wanted to be in that space, in that tech space. So I was like, I was at a point where I was working full time, but I was also doing on the side a little bit. And, that full time job, unfortunately it didn't work out.
Yeah,
So it didn't work out for a lot of people. A lot of people like ended up, being laid off because of, certain circumstances. But it forced me to realize, okay, this is your gift, Quincy. Like, use it. Like, you really, like, you have a gift. Like, people around you at your job recognize what you're doing, and you're not
yeah,
getting paid for it. Like,
yep,
what you doing?
yep,
Like, I will never forget. Like, my old supervisor would tell me, like, man, you pick up all this stuff. Like, I'm gonna have you go teach everybody stuff. Like, every time there's a new like feature or a new something with the software, okay, y'all go. Quincy will come around and teach how to do it. That's just me, but just off of like figuring it out. Like, it's just a couple little things, whatever.
mhm,
But I guess that's just for me. Just like it came natural, like
yeah,
because and going back to sports, like I played sports throughout school, but I I I found myself. I kid you not, like junior high, middle school. I knew sports went my way out. Like I just
this
knew
ain't it.
that ain't it because I ain't gonna lie, I was average, like I was decent, but I knew I wasn't like a superstar. Like I would
Mhm.
go in, do what I had to do, get out the field, court, whatever. But I was like, I was always like into tech or into like a book or something. So,
That's okay.
and
Shoot,
that's okay.
that's
And y'all,
cool.
and y'all, look, believe me, it is okay.
You
Like
gonna
you
make
can
more
always,
money than an athlete.
man, what? And your life, honestly, your lifespan, like
Yeah.
your body, like your body, and going back to like being into like the business side of it, like and once I started to realize like what I could do, like with what I had, like I just kind of started getting these ideas. Like I changed my logo, I got
Mhm.
my portfolio together, I got start doing a little stuff on the side, like little sample stuff to kind of like get my feet wet and just kind of at least have stuff up there so people can see what my work. And lo and behold, like there's a point where like that was the only income I had. Like I didn't have like, I was like we talking about red, like
Yeah.
red. Like I
Yeah.
ain't never seen that before. And luckily, like my family, they're very supportive. They're still supportive now. And but there was a point like Quincy, you gotta do something. Like you can't. It ain't gonna be easy. So time went on, and I just kind of like just launched. Like I don't remember my actual launch date with the new, I guess, logo and stuff and the new
Mhm.
services, but I never forget. I put a video together, and it was a big like reveal, and I used my favorite J Cole intro for
Hey.
the song for the song, and I just was like, that's that song to this day. I feel like that defines like my journey.
Mhm.
Like the intro to the warm up. Like that's my
Yeah.
favorite. Like
Yeah.
if I'm feeling like I'm like there's times like you want to give up, but like when I have like those down days where it's like, I put that song.
Yeah.
If I don't pray first or if I don't put that song on or something like that, that's how I cope with certain things because it's kind of like it puts me back like okay, all right, you're exactly where God wants you to be. Stay where
Exactly.
you are. Just stay there.
Yep.
You're good. You're fine. Just remember, we all got to start somewhere. So that's what I remember, like going back when I created a video and those services. Like, okay, Quincy, you got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
And now, like, it was a point where like I was getting people coming to me about logos and websites and flyers and things of that nature, T-shirt design, stuff like that. Like it was good money, it was good. Like it helped, you know what I'm saying, and it built my confidence too because it's like okay,
Mhm.
I'm actually I'm all right. So, and then it just kind of blossomed into something where it comes natural. Like I haven't really done a design in a while, but and that's due to work. But there was times where I didn't have to like promote myself. It just came basically off of referrals.
Yeah.
So if
That
I heard
tells
you
you
do
something
this,
right there.
exactly. So I'm just like, I wasn't even like, I wasn't worried on nothing. I wasn't doing anything. I just give it a refer like, hey, I heard you do resumes. I heard you do logo. Can you do a logo? I'm selling a book. Can you just put together like a little one pager for me to sell this book?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just was like, okay, Quincy, like this is your lane. Like this is what you do. Even though it's a million designers out there, people are coming to you.
Yeah.
so it's just like that made me like really appreciate and value, the entrepreneur mindset
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna be times where ain't nobody calling you, ain't nobody checking for you. You get no likes, you get no comments, no shares, none of
I'm in that space right now. I've been in that
that.
space for 11 years.
But
Like, you
it's
know
just
what
like,
I'm
but at the same time,
saying?
God was like, keep going. Like God said, keep going because you helping somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody watching.
And it's not about
Somebody,
it's not about them.
right. But it's just like, you doing this for like like this is stuff that make you happy. This is stuff that you
Yeah.
love to do. So once I got that, like, okay, like there's times where I'll get in the creative space and just create something. And I'll send it to Keely. I'm like, hey sis, what you think about this? She was like, bro, I'd be like, what you been doing over there? I was like, I just got in the creative space and I just started making stuff.
It's a
And
beautiful feeling.
that's just something. And then that kind of made me more of like I guess you could say consultant.
Yeah,
Because a
you
lot of
are.
people come to me like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Like, or how can I expand on this? Or how can I distribute this? And, I'm not big on titles. So it's just, for me, it's just like, okay, yeah, I can, it comes natural. Like when I get talking tech because I can go on days and days and years talk about tech, but yeah, it's been a journey, and I would say I'm actually in the process of kind of like rebranding a little bit. So I got me a new piece of hardware over there that I'm excited to use. So
Yay.
I got everything I need now. I'm just happy about it. So
That that's so great, man.
yeah, so I'm shout out to moms and my uncle Harry.
Thanks.
uh, but yeah, speaking of Uncle Harry, I would be remiss if I didn't mention him in this. I don't even know if he gonna get to see it, but he kind of
You'll see it.
he put the batter in my back when it came to because he was on the same path when he was in school,
Hmm.
and he was always the guy that everybody called. People still call him, but I call him like, hey, how do you do this or what? Like, who do you know that can do this
Hmm.
or some of that in that fashion? And we all are into like tech or like computers, phones, iPads, chips,
Hmm.
fire sticks. If you need a fire stick, let me know.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. If you need a fire stick and you need something to put on there, you can watch everything. Please let me know. So, but yeah, he like is a continued inspiration to me because that was one of the first things I saw growing up. Like he was like into like stuff back then, and then to
Hmm.
see it now, like he's kind of exposed me to people that and put my name in rooms that I ain't even been in yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I never forget he took me to a hackathon,
Mm.
and he put me in a room where there was actually developers with his company, developers, engineers, project managers, people. It's a guy that he works with to this day that still ask about me. Like, hey, how's
Wow.
Quincy doing? Like, how's he doing? Like, I will always like be grateful because it lets me know like, okay, you onto something. Just keep pushing, keep going.
Hmm.
And he always tell me, be patient, young man. Be patient because he tell me all the time, like, I didn't start until I got this age. Like, don't go by age, but I didn't start till this time, and now look.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So always, and that takes me back to always remember where you are. Never forget where you came from, and just embrace it because your time gonna come. Like
Hmm.
it's gonna come. Like
You just need to make
I
sure you're ready when it comes.
exactly. Preparation is key.
You
Y'all,
got to be ready. That's what the
y'all.
downtime is for. That's what the isolating dark times,
Hmm.
like the moments where you are isolated. God
Right.
is low key giving you time to
And he
like.
talking to me.
He is if if you're putting yourself in a position to listen,
Hmm.
because he definitely is like maneuvering some things for you, and your gifts
Hmm.
will make room for you. But it's up to you to do what you got to do when you get in the room.
Exactly.
And if you're not prepared for the moment, you will fumble the purpose.
You will fumble it, you will miss it, and then realize that, dang, I missed it.
It's
Because
crazy.
I feel like there's times where, like, when you really want to, like, understand and hear God, if you don't hear him, like, audibly, you'll see him or hear him through something else. Like, it could be a TV show, it can be a song, it can be something you see on social media,
How do you
it can
hear
be
him?
anything.
How do you hear God? Because I always
Ooh,
like asking this question because he screams at me a lot. So I want to know. It's loud for me, but
here
what is it for you?
for me, I would
I
say
know.
it's a scream. I would say it's a scream, but it's through somebody else.
Oh, it's to somebody else. Okay, so Keezy. Okay.
and yeah, see, I ain't said that name. I ain't said that name. So that's how I know. Or it's Ty.
Yeah,
Or it's it can be honestly. It can honestly turn like I'll hear something in prayer.
yeah,
That's how I knew like my relationship was getting strong because I start hearing stuff. And
yeah.
when I hear it, I write it down. Or no, one more thing.
Absolutely.
One more thing. Dreams.
Yeah,
Oh my god! Like I don't. We talk about like vivid dreams to where like I remember every single detail.
so you
Cause
have vivid
sometimes,
dreams.
cause sometimes like you kind of like you have a dream, you forget about it, you mad you forgot about it. Sometimes, like I just told Kitty the other day, like I think it was New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Like I had a string of 4 dreams that just came back. And I remember every single one of them.
Like to be
And
continued.
wait, with the to be continued, and it was like, but the last dream is gonna be a missing piece
Huh.
to where you headed or to what your heart desires.
Wow.
And I'm like, what should I say?
Look, look, I'm gonna say this so you can make your decision if you want to speak it or not.
Mhm.
Power and death. What is it? Life and death live in the power of the tongue, right? Isn't that what it says?
Yeah, that's very true.
So
I
if
might as well. I might as well say it because
hmm,
I feel like it's a part of my testimony. So
hmm,
why not? So to be honest, the ultimate desires of my heart is to one be be the best version of myself in every aspect. And one thing in my prayers that I always say is, God, I want you to be who you create me to be, whether that's a kingdom citizen, the son, the nephew, the cousin, the brother, the godfather, and ultimately the husband and father.
yeah.
So those last two, husband and father, they come with these strange dreams. And
Wow.
so Trina, I kid you not, like I had a dream about where I'm getting engaged, where I'm engaged to my whoever my wife is, who she I don't know who she is, but I
Wow.
know where I'll be getting engaged. I saw myself at the wedding giving a speech and a toast.
Wow.
I've had dreams about my kids. It was four names, and I've been told I'm having 4 kids.
Wow.
I got the names of the kids. They're gonna be twins. They're gonna have a set of twins.
Oh, that's exciting. I got a babysit.
And hey, Lord have mercy. Two of me. Ooh, they're gonna be quiet, but that's
We gonna
nuts. And
see.
they're gonna be quiet. I was a quiet child growing up, but whoever my partner is, then you know. But
Yeah, you don't know.
so that's what is it? That's one, two, three. Okay, so here recently, I had a dream or a vision about a venue, and I saw a venue on Facebook. It was so random. I was like, where does this come from? I didn't even say nothing about no venue. So I click on it like a dummy. Because the it reminded me of where I was gonna get engaged. Or where I was, and I'm like, okay, this is nice. But I'm thinking it's somewhere like California or, somewhere like out west. because it looked like
Mm-hmm.
that, or somewhere like in Europe or something like that. Kind of find out it's in McKinney. I'm like, okay.
It's in Texas
I say,
and
I
East.
said, I said, God, what, what, what is that? So it got me to thinking, like, okay, all right, so that's 1, 2, that's 4.
Wow.
So now I have all this. That missing piece is a significant other, the wife.
She's coming.
So that's been my thing, and I've had hints, but then again, I'm not. You never know. And at this point, like I got a whole security team you gotta go through. So
You do.
I have a whole security team. So yeah,
You
y'all,
do.
whoever you are, man, just be prepared.
If she writes, she won't even be worried about it.
I don't think she. I think she'll fit right in. Whoever she
Yeah.
is.
The right one
But
gonna be breezing right through it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because
so it's
you're
just
right
like
with yourself and with God, so you good.
exactly. But yeah, that when God speaks to me through dreams, like that, like I remember those dreams from like months, like beginning of the year, like months ago,
That's absolutely amazing, Quincy,
and
because
is
everybody does not have that. You should feel very blessed. Like to be able to see it and remember it
I
in
remember
the real life
like
form. Like, wow, you can remember that. And then you're starting to see signs and miracles. So it's
right,
like,
like
wow.
sis, like I kid you not, like Keely will tell you like that dream I had about the wedding. I remember everything. I remember who was there. I remember my suit. I
Wow.
saw Keely in her pantsuit.
Yeah.
I saw the champagne. So I saw the silhouette of the woman. I just didn't see her face.
Wow.
So it's
Well,
just like
that's crazy.
so I'm just like, okay. And then also like I feel like that culminates with like prayer and fasting because a lot of my revelation comes after I fast, if I'm on a
Hmm.
fast. So like basically like I'll do a corporate fast or sometimes I'll fast on my own. I'll never forget like last summer, I
Hmm.
fasted the entire summer. Like the
Mm.
entire summer. And it was for an individual. Well, it has nothing to do with an individual, but like I just knew something wasn't right.
What was your fast though? What did you do?
So it was a water fast. So what I would do, no food or sugar from six a.m. to 6 p.m. And you would pray 3 times a day. So pray at 6, 12, and then 6 p.m. So
Okay.
with that, and there were some times where I would go and wouldn't eat at all, like just because I just wouldn't be hungry. I just drink water.
Mm.
But what I learned is those are the times, like those quiet times, where God speaks to you the most. Like you be in your word, you be in your prayer closet, your prayer hallway, whatever you got, your war room, or whatever you have. Like that taught me, that kind of helped groom me more into realizing like who I was in Christ.
Yeah. You need
And
to be able to hear him.
exactly, and a lot of times you kind of know, but you run away because a lot of people think like being a Christian is like boring and it ain't cool.
Hmm. It's eventful.
It's, we could,
It's eventful.
that's a whole nother type for a different day.
It is.
But
It's eventful as heck, man.
man, but you know, it's amazing how that I'm just thinking about it now. Like, dang, that was a year, like a full like summer of straight like prayer and fasting, and that's where a lot of revelation comes. And sometimes like you feel it coming because it's just like okay, this is what's happening, and then you'll see something like okay, that's a sign right there.
Hmm.
And how I really know is every Sunday for church. If I went through something, I had a conversation about something, it was in the message, no matter what it was.
It's
I'm like, okay.
amazing. It
I'm
is
like,
amazing when he
okay.
speaks through those messages and then like uses other people just to like give you clarification. It's
Exactly.
insane how it works that way, but that's just God
Yeah, that's just him. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. So
everywhere.
everywhere. So I'm just like, okay. And yeah, like that's how I hear God through multiple like avenues. Like it's just like even like recently, like certain stuff, like I'll be watching a movie or I'll be watching a TV show or something like that's God. Like that's it's amazing because I'm like, wow, I never really seen it like that. So, and then sometimes you can kind of see how people move too. Like if you really pay attention, like
Discernment.
that's something to exactly discerning
Whew.
spirits, y'all. The discerning the spirit, y'all. When y'all have a good feeling about something, like or y'all have like a something told me not to do that.
Yeah,
That's discerning. That's discerning. Something right
that's
there
discernment.
because just like there's so many times where I was gonna go somewhere. I'm like, I would think I'm talking myself out of it, but like it was like, nah, don't go. And
Yep.
then it would be a better decision because like something would either happen or you know it will be in your best interest to stay where you are. So yeah, discernment is a beast. Yeah, like
It
seriously
is.
because you can save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of headaches, a lot of migraines.
Yes.
A lot of migraines in my case. Boy, I'll be getting migraines like mad. But
Oh no.
yeah, I gotta get checked out. But that, well, I wouldn't say checked out. I think that's just something I think it's hereditary because my family get into.
Yeah. Just gotta make sure you check in, make sure everything's good.
Yeah, I check in and I'll make sure everything is straight, but yeah, it'll save you a lot of wasted time. Like discernment is something that's very key. And if you
Yeah.
don't know if you don't have it, then all you gotta just ask God for it. He'll show you.
Please ask for it because you need it
He'll show
to
you because
maneuver out here in these streets. You gonna need it.
yeah, what like there's so many times where like you can really read people without even trying to. Or you can kind of like, not. I would say like there's sometimes like somebody like is genuine or not, or
Yeah.
if you know something is like kind of off, you kind of feel like okay something's off here, and that's not to be judgmental, but it's more like to protect yourself. That's very important
Yeah.
because you don't want to walk into nothing that's like potentially be your downfall.
You
So
gotta protect your heart. So that's
yeah,
what it comes down to, protecting your heart and making sure that the people you surround yourself with are reflections of God, and like whoever you attach yourself to, y'all are birds of a feather from in
yeah,
society's eyes. So
yeah.
you want to make sure
That's
whoever you surrounding yourself with is equally yoked. Friendships,
child.
relationships,
Ooh,
uh, business partners. Like I tell myself every day, I read my life goals out. I got all my stuff out here because I want to make sure I'm doing what he asked me to do. So I have to
right.
remind myself daily of what the goal is.
Mm,
And one of my things that I always ask God to do is like, um, make sure that every person, project, institution, whatever, I don't want to be accompanied by anybody or anything that's not bringing honor to God.
right.
Like, and I'm not saying you got to be out here knowing every scripture or nothing like that, but your
Mm,
character tells me everything I need to know about you before
exactly.
we even start working. Like, if I see how you
Exactly.
move, I see your characteristics. If they don't align with mine, I can't do it.
I can't mess with you. It's
Mm-mm. No amount
ooh,
of money
child.
matters. And no amount of
Mm,
money. I don't care if you came to me with $10 billion. If your integrity is not intact, I can't do business with you.
at all. Like
Yep,
all money ain't good money.
it's not.
I tell you that because it's just like man, like there was I got offered to do something for somebody. I think you did too
hmm
by the same individual, but again discernment. But even back then, I wasn't even like fully understanding of everything.
hmm
But I knew then I was like, they're not gonna pay me.
hmm
They're not gonna pay me. Like, even if
Yep.
I do all this work, they're not gonna pay me. So I just like, all right, whatever. And
It's already hostile environment anyway. So
exactly.
no.
Exactly. So it's just like, and then you saw like the downhill spiral of what that could have been. And
Yep.
to see everybody else that left has excelled. I don't know if you noticed
Oh yeah.
that, but everybody that has left that area, left that
Thriving.
place is thriving. And
Thriving.
it
Yeah.
just happens like whoever has whoever inherits something and don't know what to do with it, it's just using it for a title.
Yep.
That's what happens.
It will come down
Yeah,
eventually.
young peoples. I'm part or millennials, whoever you is.
We
I'm one of y'all.
millennials.
We millennials. Look, anybody. Look, I tell anybody this. Like y'all, like them titles don't matter, man.
They don't.
Them titles do not matter, bro. Like again, that's why I don't like people that seek attention so much because like them titles, like at the end of the day, like if I know your title before I know your name,
You made a very interesting point when you were talking about your uncle. I think it's interesting that he planted that seed in you when you were younger, and like now looking at what you are now, I think it's funny because I was already working it out back then.
he was working
But
out back then.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
already working it out back then. But you said something like, he's putting my name in rooms that I haven't even entered into yet. And honestly, that's what it comes down to when it comes to following Christ. It's like
right.
he's gonna reveal to you what to do. Sometimes he gives you the big picture and no steps,
Mhm.
or he gives you the steps and no big picture. Like it's like you gotta. That's where your faith comes into play, and
Exactly.
um, and it's amazing because it's like he will put your name in rooms that you do not even know exist, and
Mhm.
people are like literally creating deals for you right now.
Right.
And that's why it's important for you to prepare regardless of what your circumstances look like because I mean, you just don't want to get to that space and
And
then
not know
don't
what to do.
have the
Mhm.
equipment, the intellect to handle the pressure and the responsibility of the power. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah. I
take advantage of them dark moments, man, and them
please take
isolating
it.
moments because
Please
it
take
can be bad. I
advantage.
know it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Those times, like if you're not really like, I guess understanding of how to use those times, that's when the enemy mess with you. Like
Yeah.
he'll plant those seeds in your mind. Like, oh, you like this? You might as well
Yeah.
quit. Might as well forget about it. Or recently we see like a lot of people that are unfortunately committing suicide because, especially during this whole pandemic, because people feel like,
Yeah.
oh, I was up here, and now since all this happened, I'm down here now. So
Them not to be alone. Like
exactly.
they social butterflies. They need people to put that battery in their back forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's different
And
when
that's
for a moment it's different, but when you need it
mm,
for like your life,
that's
it's
why I would never understand like these people that are going out like to these packed out events, or people that are mad about wearing masks, or people that's mad about this and that. I'm like, look, it wouldn't be like this if everybody would just be on one accord, like because people
yeah,
feel entitled,
yep,
and we know who them and they are. So, um, but just use that quiet time, use that dark place you're in for good, because again, like everything is working out for your good. Just
yeah,
remember that for sure. But
definitely.
like use that to, you can study, you can read, like you said, you can do a lot so much. Like you can learn something about yourself. You can do.
Yeah, get a
So it's just like
routine. You need a routine.
a routine, pray, do what you gotta do with that.
Yep,
If you gotta get your skin right, get your skin right, get your skin routine going. You can do so much. Work out, like
everything.
start your healthy eating journey. Like, you can do so much. Like you said, a
Yeah,
routine. So
yep,
and your routine turns to a lifestyle. So it's just like,
yep.
just make some of yourself to the point to where like it just becomes easy. Like it
That you can
becomes like,
control.
right. It becomes like second, like like the back of your hand. So it's just like, just perfect it, man. Like that's really all I can say. Like it's really like, life is funny, man, because like you really get to see your growth. You get to see like where you were and see how you come, like where you're going.
Yep. If you stop to smell the roses, though,
Yeah, because
you
people
have
don't
to
like to
slow
stop.
down. We
Yeah,
got to
people don't
slow
like to
down.
stop. We have to slow down because I feel like if we don't, we're gonna miss a lot.
But that's why God pressed pause. I was laughing because I was like,
Mhm.
God literally pressed pause on
On
all of
everything,
us, on everything. And
everything.
I loved it. I said, God is, I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong last year, but there are a lot of
Mhm,
things that He allowed to like put us in certain positions.
mhm,
And if you stop and just look at the situation for what it is, COVID is horrible. A lot of people
mhm.
lost their lives. We lost a lot of monumental people last year, but you
Right.
have to search for those slivers of, hope and light
Mhm.
in those moments. And it was definitely a lot of like progress made in that dark time
Yes.
as well. And if you think about it too, if you have student loans, you literally just got a whole year of interest free. Like a
Shoot.
whole year of interest free. Like we didn't even have to pay interest last year. You know what I'm saying?
Anything.
Just the little
Anything.
bitty things. You have to celebrate those small wins and like thank God every day that you still breathing because
Right.
this is a luxury.
But
Me being able to speak to you right now is a luxury. And
same,
before I get on any
likewise.
call, I definitely pray about the conversation. I pray about all of this before I even get on with anybody.
Mm.
Because it needs to be an exchange that's positive for both of us and whoever will
Right,
possibly watch it.
right.
So
I just look to quote my bishop. And shout out to him because this is like the first time I've been in a church where I feel truly connected, you know. And but he had a saying that he's had several sayings that has stuck with me over the years, but
mhm.
this one really it really hit when I feel like I feel stagnant or I'm not seeing things or I'm just kind of like feel like I'm just not where I want to be.
Mhm.
He said, "Victory don't always look like victory when you're on your way to victory."
It's true.
And when I'm getting chills now when I say it because like wow, like it goes back to what I said earlier. Like I'll look up, I'm like, dang, I'm in a new apartment, a big apartment. I'm I haven't I've been sustained. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's the key. I've
that's the
been
key. I've been
sustained.
sustained. Like it's just like that's a victory in itself. So it's
It
just
is.
like you on your way somewhere. Just be patient. Like just like really understand patience. Like understand like why things are happening the way they
Yeah.
are. I just say embrace it. Like that's something. There will be times where I get frustrated, but I just remember. Oh, another way. I hear God in the
Yeah. I feel you.
shower. I'll never forget. I was mad about something that happened at work. And I was driving home, just talking out loud. I got in that shower. I just heard embrace where you are.
Yep.
Embrace where you are because it's gonna all make sense. Like it's gonna all make sense. So
Yep.
that's been my motto for this year or so. So I mean,
Well, normally I would be having a vision board party around this time, but COVID
true.
is not allowing me to do that. So, do you already have a word, theme, and quote for the year?
A word theme and a quote. I don't
Yeah.
have a word theme, but this will always be my quote. Um, uh, and it's from the late great Nipsey Hussle, the marathon.
Nipsey.
Because that I always was a fan of his, like outside of music.
Yeah, he's a
Like
dope man.
his business mind was
Yeah.
like I thought about something last night. Like he was talking about Bitcoin way back then.
Yeah.
And like now, like I'm investing in Bitcoin because like why not? Because you want to have multiple streams of income, you want to be able to invest in certain things and learn things about the market. And but that's my quote. Like this is the marathon continues. Like that's cliche, but
It's really not though.
it's not. I mean, it well, people may think it is, but we don't hear about them. But that's something that's gonna stick with me forever because it's not a race, not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Yep.
And my word of the year, I don't know. My word last year was embrace. I had to pray on my word of the year. But
Yeah.
that's my thing. I was thinking about doing a digital vision board
Yeah.
on my computer and just kind of like figuring things out that I really want to accomplish this year and what I
Yeah.
would like to accomplish going into years to come. Like I know the main thing for 2021 for me is to one again straighten my relationship with God even more. But the
Yep.
biggest thing is setting myself up and my family up for the years to come. That's been
Yeah.
my biggest. Like 2020 was like that. Like seeing my family like help me the way they did and continue to be supportive. It's just like okay, I want to be able to, help the ones that help me throughout this time.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, like 2021 is like building that to set everybody up. You know, like how
Yeah.
can we as a family, like how can we, become better? Like I got family members that are so talented in different things. So like why I can use my gift to help them, we can all help each other to build an empire, build our own thing.
Yep.
And that's just something I've been thinking about here recently. Probably like the last couple of months of 2020 was like, how can we set ourselves up as a family to, you know, be straight, be good? Like we straight now, but it's just like, how can we be good, like for grandkids, great grandkids,
Generational wealth.
generation? Exactly.
That's it.
Because now we still breaking generation curses now, but like, why can we not? We build a new path. So
Yep.
that's just something that always stuck with me. So yeah,
that's what it's all about. Talk to him first and get that vision, and go execute. That's all it's about.
Execute.
That's the key.
No, I was just thinking out loud. Execute is a powerful word.
Just gotta execute.
That's something that we don't do as a society as a whole. Like we'll have these great ideas, but won't execute them.
Nope, because it requires work.
And people don't want to work.
They don't want to work. So yeah, I'm gonna share with you mine. I looked at my vision board just now, so I'm gonna share with you mine since I I already got it done, so I'm gonna say it. My word this year is skin, like skin.
Skin? Okay.
Because there's different parts to it, because I want to be completely comfortable in my skin. So I'm on this quest to becoming unbothered, completely unbothered. And my other part to that is I want to have skin in the game, which means like I just want to be all in on my businesses, like because that is the ultimate goal for me. And I just know that I have to be all in. So skin in the game, and then to have protection, regulation, and sensation. The real meaning of what your skin does.
Right.
So that's why my word is skin. And then my theme is my theme is from potential to reality, because I feel like I have a zillion ideas. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see it. I want to see it.
Right.
And then my quote is, "How you do one thing is how you do everything." You see, I ain't have to look at that.
Didn't have to look at that. That's
how
ingrained.
You do. That is. I want to be balanced across the board.
Right.
With the same intensity in every area of my life. So, that's the goal this year, and I feel like I can use my gifts. Yeah.
Because that was a part of. Well, I tell you. So going back to my bishop again, he said for 2021 we need to have a bulldog tenacity.
Absolutely.
What we went through in 2020, we need to have a bulldog tenacity, because there's gonna be some battles for sure. But there's battles anyway. So
yeah. But you made it.
Exactly.
That's what I don't understand. It's like you went through all of that. And I think I said this a million times in my little videos last year. If you made it to this point, like there's no way you cannot believe that God does not have a plan for your life. Yeah, there is something attacking us that's invisible. And you made it. Like there's no other reason to be on fire to go do what you need to do. Like you made it, you have a purpose.
With the quickness.
With the quickness. But yeah. Well, I got to ask you 2 more questions, my 2 round off questions real quick. If you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
I would change a few things. One, don't allow your fear and somebody else's fear to, project your decisions or whatever you want to do. Like to this day, I wish I wouldn't listen to people instead of like think for myself, because all along, like, and sometimes these were family members. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like these people I trust and I love, but it's just like I wish I would have did this differently, because I understand now as an adult, like I don't want to be like that. I want to be me. I don't want to be on that path. And that's when I realized, like, I'm a bloodline breaker, or breaking generational curses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I found myself like not being like that, and to this day I feel like I be the forgotten family member, because I be in my look. If I'm not at work, if I'm not at work, I'm at home. I ain't look. Why don't you call me? The phone will work ways.
Exactly.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm
But
working.
I'm working like y'all, like yeah, I work 10-hour shifts. I don't be having time. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to
Yeah.
get in the shower, sanitize, get in the shower, sit in my chair, decompress. So give me an hour to decompress. Then I might want to talk.
Yeah.
But I get. I would say like I wouldn't allow somebody else's fears to be rejected on me. To
Yeah.
make decisions.
Yeah.
Was that the home? Yeah, that was
Yeah, that was
it.
and you kind of already answered this one though. Um, do you believe your purpose is a journey or a destination?
It's a journey, man. The destination is a stop.
Yeah.
The journey keep going.
Yep.
So I don't want my journey to stop. I want to keep going.
Yep. I want my journey to keep going even when I'm not here. So
Facts. Facts.
like Nipsey Hussle said, it's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well,
I need to write that down. Where's it's over there somewhere? I'll write it down. That's going on. That's going on right now for sure.
For real, for real. Well, bro, you did amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
I did.
You did amazing. I think a lot of people will be able to find truth in what you said throughout this whole interview. And I'm glad that you were honest with yourself and you were, forthcoming with everything, or sharing your experiences. So I thank you so much for coming on.
Trina, I appreciate you for allowing me to be on here. I don't really. This is my first time being on the podcast, so I'm just like, I'm talking to the homies, so I'm cool. But yeah, so people don't really know this side of me. So I mean, I think it'll be people think I don't talk. People think people literally think I'm a mute. But
No,
if
I'm
I'm
just
comfortable
observing.
Exactly. If you know, that's an inside joke. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But I'm just appreciative of you just allowing me to even be on this platform, and thank you for your videos. Thank you for everything because that it's really encouraging to see it. And I think it's all y'all. Everybody do videos, posts, but everybody watching. So, and I appreciate you for doing everything you're doing. Just keep going, sis, because it's gonna take off.
I appreciate that. I trust that too. I really do. And at the end of it all, like I know that God, I'm doing it for God. So it has nothing to do with nothing else. So I appreciate you recognizing that. And I pray that it does help somebody because most of the time I'm talking to myself.
Hey,
just to be honest with y'all.
Sometimes that's all you need. But hey, it's
I'm talking
touching
to
somebody.
myself, get myself together. That's what I'm doing. Via video. That's what I'm doing.
Sometimes you need those trip talks.
All the time.